Sovereign One, I rest in your plans. From the depths to the dawn, you are there, your promise is strong. I will trust with all that I am. Jesus, Jesus, oh, how I need you. You stay the same. You are good in your ways. Jesus, Jesus, oh, how I need you. You are enough. All my trust is in you, Lord. You fashioned me for my heart, search my soul and know every thought. Love so great, but never too far. So through the storm, you're the calm. Every war you've already won. Life secure in your loving arms. Jesus, Jesus, oh, how I need you. You stay the same. You are good in your ways. Jesus, Jesus, oh, how I need you. You are enough. All my trust is in you, Lord. You are powerful, God above it all. I believe in you, I believe in you. You do miracles, the impossible. I believe in you, I believe in you. You are powerful, God above it all. I believe in you, I believe in you. You do miracles, the impossible. I believe in you, yeah. Jesus, Jesus, oh, how I need you. You stay the same. You are good in your ways. Jesus, Jesus, oh, how I need you. You are enough. All my trust is in you, Lord. You are powerful, God above it all. I believe in you, I believe in you. You do miracles, the impossible. I believe in you, I believe in you. You are powerful, God above it all. I believe in you, I believe in you. You do miracles, the impossible. I believe in you, I believe in you.
Thank you, Worship Collective. I just got back from doing my grandson's wedding. Now, with COVID and all of that, they were having a hard time finding a place and a time. And so they had to do it on a Monday night. Can you imagine? Monday night. Nobody gets married on a Monday, but with all of the circumstances going on today, that was the night they had to do their wedding. Now, I'd like to show you some pictures of our grandson and his wife now. Here I am presenting a Bible to them, the Bible that I used while I was performing the ceremony. And here's some other pictures that we took. Here's the couple. And some of you remember Britton and Natalie as they were here on campus for several years. And then my wife and I and them, we're here at the ceremony. After the ceremony, we had, of course, a big dinner, and we were rejoicing with them. And it was an exciting time. And so we're glad that you're here watching today. We're going to have a great convo. And Pastor David is going to come in just a few moments, and he's going to introduce our special guest today. You're going to enjoy this program. Pastor David, would you please come and introduce our speaker for today?
Thank you, Dr. Prevost. Our special guest today is a police officer who puts his life in harm's way every single day to serve and protect. There are roughly about 420,000 officers in 18,000 local, state, and federal agencies in America today. That's about 2 police officers, by the way, for about every 1,000 Americans. Tragically, last year, 135 officers were killed in the line of duty. This year, 219 have lost their lives so far. One officer that is out there today making a big difference is our good friend, Dion Joseph. Dion was the RoboCop that became the Angel Cop of LA's Skid Row. He and his entire family came to Liberty a few years back to speak at Convo, and ever since, we've become good friends. And I can't tell you how often we're texting or encouraging one another. Dion is actually a bit of a gentle giant. You'll see that as we go into the interview in just a few minutes. I love his passion for the Lord, his love for people. His honor code is probably one of my favorite things about him, and his courage. Here's a sizzle reel before we sit down to this interview.
Just one block east of downtown Los Angeles is one of the most dangerous, overlooked, marginalized places in the United States of America, and that's Skid Row. Skid Row is a place where horrible things happen all the time. Women and children are the most vulnerable to the crimes, but you also have gang members and drug dealers who sell drugs near rescue missions and hinder efforts to help people in the area. This is where I work. This is where God called me to be. And I believe that with my whole heart. You know, the reality here is most people don't really like police officers. They're taught to hate us because they feel we're after them because of their social status or race or whatever. It's really hard to meet somebody you really want to help and have them reject you. Some of them hate my guts. And I really, truly, honestly care about them. I try to look at people the way I think God looks at people. And in spite of all our mistakes, God still loves us. So in spite of all the mistakes that a lot of the people in Skid Row have made, I want to show them that I love them and I want to help make their lives better. You got to get out of your car sometimes, remove your judgmental idea about who people are and what a good person should be, and, you know, and get out there and get to know these people, because you'll find that even though some of them have a lot of problems, severe problems, mild problems, they're people.
Let me feel it.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's it. That's the real deal right there. We'll get you there. All right.
Dion Joseph. Call me Dion.
They're told the police hate you. But I destroy that theory when I get out in that street, because those folks will test you. If you say you care, they're going to hold you up to it. Okay, Joseph, you care? Put me in some housing.
The Dion? Okay.
Yes, Dion.
For real?
Yeah. If you're interested in some 90-day housing.
Yes, yes.
Okay. What I want you to do is Thursday, go see my friend. She's a wonderful lady.
Over time, the people see you for who you are, not what you are. They know I'm doing what I'm doing not to harass them, but because I'm for them.
All right?
Will do. Thank you.
All right, Lance. Take care. Hey, how are you? You know, you're a star. How you doing?
Because you love this kid right here.
I do.
Get to know people on an individual basis. I know their names. I know when they've been sober. I know when they're high. People always ask me, how can you work here? How could you sit here all this time? My faith in God is what keeps me from packing up and leaving town. This is my assignment. It's like a driving force that keeps me having faith in this community, you know, that says, don't let him go yet, Dion. Don't let him go.
So good to have Officer Dion Joseph with us. Man, we love you. Our students absolutely loved it when you were with us a few years ago at Convocation. And so we knew that we had to get you back. Thanks for being with us this morning.
Oh, man, once I got the call from you, I couldn't hesitate. I love you guys. Your hospitality was amazing, and I'll never forget. That was one of the greatest experiences of my life. You guys are amazing.
We got a lot to talk about, but I got to first ask you about that necklace. You know, it's so funny. I have the same necklace. Mine's a little bit larger, actually, and I was going to wear it today, so I'm glad we didn't wear it at the same day. But
we should have. Great minds. Great minds think alike.
so, and all kidding aside, like your wife lets you wear her jewelry for a combo.
Hey, this is masculine. This is a manly necklace, from what I hear.
You realize I'm messing with you because you're in L.A. and I'm in Virginia. Yeah. We're 3 time zones away.
Yeah. I can't reach you from here, but
I'm glad you can't reach me. But I could take you. I mean, the funny thing is, you and I have so much in common. Like, you work out, you're pretty buff. I work out. I bet our students feel like I'm looking in the mirror even here when it comes to just our physique. You know,
you're like my doppelganger, man. It's like, man, we're twins.
And here's what's weird.
We're more twins than my twin.
Here's what's weird, Dion. I don't even work out. Like, I know you probably work out and stuff like that, but this is all natural to me. That's crazy.
It's not fair. You're naturally buff and yoked out and all swole, and everybody accuses me of being on steroids. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Man, I'm trying to be a savage. I'm trying to be a savage, and you're just so nice. Everything I say, you're just like, yeah, praise God.
It's the God in me. It's the God in me.
Man, I love you, buddy. I can't wait for students that don't know your story yet to hear a little bit. Can you begin with the beginning? You grew up in a strong Christian family that has such a legacy of ministry. Take us into just your early childhood.
Well, early childhood, like you said, my parents were staunch believers in God. They loved the Lord, but they weren't religious. I don't call them religious. They truly believed in Jesus Christ and his ways. Before it was called Christianity, it was called the Way. Yeah. And they chose Jesus as a way of life. They did everything they could to mirror him and show love to people from a place that they didn't expect it. And, and a lot of people didn't expect it from Christians, but they opened their hearts and helped homeless people. I watched them taking 41 foster children. I was around for 17 of those kids, and these kids dealt with a lot of trauma, some sexual trauma, physical trauma, neglect. We took one kid from a KKK member, and it was so funny to watch this kid walk around my house afraid to eat the N-word's food. But then after about 2 weeks, we caught him in our refrigerator eating chicken and collard greens. And I'll never forget, we were stopped by the police. This was back in the late 70s. And this kid literally thought he was black. You're just stopping us because we're black. I was like, wow, he's one of us. So that's the kind of love my parents showed. They made them feel like a family. It was a non-patronizing style of love. Yeah. If I got a hug, they got a hug. If I got in trouble, they got in trouble the same way. And a lot of them left our house kicking and screaming, not even want to go back home to their own parents. And just watching my father, the way he treated his employees, he hired individuals who couldn't get a second chance anywhere else because of their criminal background or their race. And he never called them his employees. He always called them his friends. And to this day, all that is still instilled in me, because you'll never hear me call the homeless a hobo, a bum, a transient. I always go out of my way to call them my friends. And I believe that's what Jesus Christ would do. You know, Jesus loved us all. So I try to emulate that.
So, so much, of your upbringing was influential, I'm sure, in the decision you made to go even into law enforcement. just train up a child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. And so I see some of those early things that you just said about your early development and the way you were raised in that family and the way you're an officer today on Skid Row. But tell us about what made you decide to become an officer.
Well, the truth is, I didn't want to be a police officer. Like many young African-American males, I was indoctrinated, and I use the word strongly, indoctrinated, to hate, fear, and loathe law enforcement. Whether I was watching the Rodney King incident being played over and over again, my favorite rap groups were NWA, Public Enemy, KRS-One. Yes, F the Police was playing in my Nissan Sentra as I drove. My circle of friends, an activist group I was a part of, every day it was this steady indoctrination that the police were our enemies. So there was no way in heck that I was going to be a law enforcement officer. And then something horrible happened, the riots. And the riots came and destroyed our family business. Nobody wanted to hire a black contractor, a black real estate agent after the riots hit. And it really had devastating consequences. So there was a period where I was out of work for several months, and my friends, said, "Hey, put your name in the hat for this." And I put my name in the hat for everything, and no one called me. Finally, another friend and an uncle said, "Well, I hear the police department's hiring." And I was like, "That police department? You must be out of your mind." What changed my mind is I met this beautiful woman named Santasha Joseph, and I wanted to give her the world. I believe my idea of manhood is I take care of, I protect. And what I did was I said, I'm going to go ahead. I put my name in the hat. And out of all the jobs I applied for, the only one that called me was the department I work for now. And I was disappointed. I was mad. I lost some friends the day I got the letter. They literally stood up and walked out of the restaurant. Wow. And I was like, but I'm moving forward. And when I joined the police academy, I discovered 90% of what was told to me by my friends and family was not true. I was told that I was going to be taught to hate my own people and that black people were the target. We have to go get black people. We have to arrest black people. We have to kill black. I really believed this going in. I literally believed that I was going to get called the N-word as soon as the day one I stepped on the black line that day. And none of that happened. In fact, there was more diversity training and human relations training in the police academy than how to keep our heads from being blown off in the streets. Like literally, I speak better Spanish than how to slice a pie in a building search. Yeah. I was able to freely express how African Americans felt to my white and Hispanic classmates, and they were open and they were receptive, and it was a great dialogue. And then I hit the streets, and that's when it got real. And I worked with officers from all walks of life: white, black, Hispanic, gay, straight, Christian, Jewish, Muslim. And I discovered that 90% of those individuals were decent human beings doing an incredibly tough jobs. Keep in mind, the base word, human beings. Yeah. They weren't perfect. Nobody, even yours truly, wasn't perfect, but they were decent and they were just doing an incredibly difficult job. Yeah, my whole idea of police work changed right after that. And I became addicted to serving, watching my fellow officers from all walks of life help people, rescue people, save lives. It was really incredible, and I became addicted to it.
Yeah, and most of those officers were just good men and women who maybe didn't share your faith or didn't even have a faith, but like you said, had different personal convictions, but they were just amazing people that were there to protect and serve. They certainly weren't making a ton of money. They certainly weren't popular in this culture. They were just good people. Talk to us about how, when you first got there, so much of your reputation was RoboCop, and then on Skid Row, it eventually became Angel Cop. Tell us that story.
Well, when I left Venice Beach, I ended up in Skid Row, which was kind of culture shock to me. I drove through those streets, and I didn't want to be there, seeing people who looked like me. About 80% of the Skid Row population was African American, and it broke my heart. But at the same time, like I said, I was a germaphobe. There was no place to eat, and I was like, "Why did you send me here, Lord?" Then I ended up actually being assigned the Skid Row car. And after about 3 months, this is what was happening, and this is how I knew God was ordering my steps. There would be homeless people and even gang members who would come up to me and say, "Look, I'm in trouble. I see God in your eyes. Wow. You look like the only person who's going to help me." And I'm like, okay, of course. It didn't matter if I was at the end of my shift, I would stop and help them. And then what I found was when I would arrest the person who stabbed them, raped them, or assaulted them, when I really expected to go to court and testify against them. But then 2 days later, I would get the disposition from the detectives, and it would say, "District Attorney reject," because the person was homeless and because they had a drug history. And one thing I hate is injustice. I hate all forms of injustice, whether it's a bad guy on the street or whether it's a cop. And when I saw that, I realized that these folks needed a warrior / guardian to protect them, because above our heads, the whole mentality of the system was, it's just Skid Row. Why do you care so much? That's what they deserve because they ruined their life at some point. And I couldn't accept, in my spirit, I couldn't accept that. So I became kind of a warrior for them and a guardian. So yeah, at first I had the mindset of, okay, how am I going to change this? I'm going to do it the traditional way. I'm going to fill the backseat of my car with as many dangerous felons and drug dealers as I possibly can, which is noble, but it only works if you're working in a system that supports that. And at the time, I wasn't working in a system that supported that. I'd arrest a violent criminal, I'd arrest a drug dealer, and of course they'd be released early, and the cycle continued. And I would get frustrated, and I say, okay, I'm going to do more. And this is how I developed the nickname RoboCop, because they said I was big and I walked like a robot. I had all this gear, and it looked like I had no heart as I opened the back seat of my car and just threw bad guys in like it was nobody. You couldn't escape from me. If you ran, I'd catch you. If you hid, I could find you, because I knew every crack and crevice. So I got the term RoboCop. But that transitioned when I became a senior lead officer, and that's a position where I'm in charge of the Skid Row area. It's my responsibility to come up with creative crime fighting strategies to not only reduce crime, but improve quality of life. And when I first got the star, no one gave me a manual on how to do it. I went to God, and he didn't answer me at first. So I started doing it the way I used to. Let me arrest everybody and their play mother, and maybe things will change. And it didn't change. So one day I'm sitting on the block of Main Street, one of the most dangerous streets in Skid Row, and I'm frustrated. Nothing's changing. And I prayed to God. I said, God, nothing's changing. I don't want to fail these people. What can I do? And I bought my mother's anointing oil. Wow. Nobody knows the story. Nobody knows the story but you. And there's drug dealers dealing, people fighting and arguing. And I just closed my eyes and I opened my car door and I poured the oil onto Main Street. And then I closed it and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. And when I opened my eyes 20 minutes later, a third of the group was gone. I prayed some more. I opened my eyes again. 2/3 of the group was gone. Now, the other third, they were the patient ones, because that's their block, right? They don't want to leave that territory. So one of the drug dealers knocked on my window and said, hey, ain't it time for you to go home? And God put it on my spirit to say, no, sir, I am home.
Wow.
And I didn't leave the block. And every day I used the same tactic until the streets dissipated of drug dealers and drug addicts. And I had people who were in the low-income resident housing that you wouldn't think supported us based on the stereotype that Black people don't support the police. But African Americans, Hispanics, homeless were coming up to my window and saying, thank you, whatever you do, don't leave this block. And Main Street was the first street that I was able to clean up with the power of God and prayer and faith. And then I noticed when you're available, crime drops. And when I made myself available, people began having conversations with me, and they stopped worrying about what I did and discovered who I was. So then the name started changing from RoboCop, House Negro, Sambo. Then I got funny names like Officer Tight Shirt, Male Stripper, things like that. And then the name started changing to Angel Cop when I really opened my heart and I started reaching out, doing outreach, passing out hygiene kits to the homeless to guide them to services, housing the homeless, working with housing facilities inside Skid Row and outside, developing Ladies Night and Just Like You mentor programs to show my heart. And I was able to do that and fight crime at the same time. So I built community trust and at the same time helped reduce crime 18% on my own and then 40% with 50 of the greatest police officers to ever walk the face of the earth. That's when the Angel Cop started coming through.
Yeah, it's an incredible story. So many of the people on Skid Row, and I'd love for you, by the way, just to tell our audience a little bit about Skid Row. Let's not just presume that they all know, they might know that term, but don't know where it's birthed out of in LA. And by the way, it's growing, right? It's no longer just Skid Row. The homeless population and all the brokenness. I'm not just talking about LA is right now just seeing, especially in this pandemic season, a real growth in so much of what's been happening for a long time in Skid Row, happening all over their city. But all the cities, the big cities in the United States are seeing so much of this. But define a little bit what Skid Row is in specifics. And then talk to us a little bit about just the dual challenge of having people there that aren't just homeless or aren't just jobless, but they're also dealing with mental health issues. Maybe, and then on top of that, they're dealing with maybe substance abuse
Well,
in their life?
Well, absolutely. Skid Row, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to define what Skid Row is,
Right.
just in the physical sense. Then I'm going to describe to you the four groups of people that live in Skid Row. So
Yeah.
first of all, what Skid Row is. Skid Row is a recovery zone. It's called a recovery zone because it has about 108 programs designed to help someone with a myriad of issues, whether it be mental illness, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, domestic violence, you name it, it's there. Hope is literally a trip and fall away. The only thing Skid Row can't do is house everybody, but that's a problem that we're having nationwide. And unfortunately, because it's centralized and adjacent to other cities like South LA, Watts, Compton, Inglewood, Carson, and other places where people who are already on the low end of the socioeconomic ladder, when they fall off, the next step is Skid Row. A lot of these people ended up in Skid Row, and who followed them? The criminal element. So that's a recipe for disaster right there. When you centralize services like that, it's a recipe for disaster. Now let's talk about the people of Skid Row. There's four kinds of people in Skid Row, like anywhere else in the United States of America. Let's talk about the first group. The first group are good people. They're just poor, they're disenfranchised, and they're just trying to survive in the only place that will have them because of NIMBYism, okay? Wonderful human beings. I believe that's the majority, okay? The second group of people are good people who do bad things. These are your drug addicts who, when they have an environment conducive to change and they're clean and sober, guess what? We find out they're educated, they're artistic, they're talented. People in Skid Row weren't born in Skid Row. They ended up there. Okay, so understand that. So when they have an environment conducive to change, they actually are some, and people of faith as well. Okay, God didn't stop loving them just because they ended up in Skid Row. And third group of people are people who've made mistakes, but they have redemptive qualities. These are your career criminals, ex-convicts. If you give them an environment conducive to change, they make better choices. But unfortunately, when things are bad, hey, it's off the chain. And then the last group are, I don't want to say what I really want to say about them. Let's just call them career criminals. This is their job. This is what they do. Okay. And advocates. This is what they do. Okay. Now, let me show you how it's different from any place or juxtaposed to any other place in the United States of America with those four groups. Because Skid Row is so concentrated, there tends to be this frequent cross-contamination of those four groups. And here's what it looks like. The good people have to look the other way so they don't become a victim of crime themselves or get 86th, okay? They could literally witness a murder, but they're so terrified when things are bad that they won't come forward, and the video shows them being right there. The good person who does bad things, your drug addict, they end up staying on the bad side longer because the temptation to fail is far greater. How do you get clean when the drug dealer is not only outside of your drug program, but also they pay off security and even the programs themselves to infiltrate the inside? That's impossible to change. Think of your favorite celebrity and where they go to get clean. Betty Ford, Malibu, Passages, and I'm not saying those are 100%, but they're away from the temptation. They can afford to go there, and their sobriety lasts a little longer until they fall off the wagon and they can afford to go back. Our brothers and sisters at Skid Row can't do that. The ex-convict, who has redemptive qualities, if Skid Row's really off the chain and crime is on every corner, these individuals are sometimes only getting $221 a month from the state after getting out of prison. So after a while, they go, look, I'm not making enough money. I see the drug dealer making thousands of dollars. I need quote unquote work. If you ever hear the term work in Skid Row, that means you're going to be an enforcer, you're going to be an extorter, you're going to be a drug dealer, and they end up recidivizing, okay, because the environment is not conducive to change. And then lastly, the career criminals and advocates pull all the strings to make me look like the bad guy for trying to stop it by any means, legal means necessary. It's really a disturbing thing. There are people who literally benefit from Skid Row remaining as it is. And that's the biggest challenge. When you fight someone tooth and nail to give somebody a better environment to change their life so they can get back to their loved ones, there's a problem. So that's the reality of Skid Row in a nutshell. But the last group, and the most important one for me, because I helped raise my niece who suffered from mental illness and a nephew, is mental illness. We have individuals in Skid Row who were thrown away by society, and everybody wants to play politics with this. Oh, blame Kennedy, blame Reagan. Stop right now. They're both responsible for what we're seeing here, okay? In the 70s, they closed down all the asylums, kicked everybody out in the streets in the name of civil liberties, sprinkled pills on them, and says, yeah, you're free. Some of them fell into the loving arms of family, but many were kicked out and sent down to places like Skid Row. And when they get to Skid Row, They stop taking their prescribed medication because it makes them feel down. It makes them feel lethargic. So they sell it or throw it away. And then they start self-medicating on the hard stuff like crack cocaine, spice, and yes, even marijuana. Marijuana may not affect you one way, but someone who's on the spectrum of mental illness, it could have disastrous consequences. And here's what happens. They go from being in crisis to now being in crisis 100-fold. You're talking to a police officer, okay? I'm telling you that being bipolar is not a crime. Being paranoid schizophrenic is not a crime. Being depressed is not a crime. None of those things are crimes. But when those things meet the hard narcotics and drug addiction, it can have the following consequences. People who end up going out and hurting other people and hurting themselves, or developing a reprobate mind where they stop taking care of themselves physically. And that's a systemic failure. When we talk about systemic failures, that's the real systemic failure. And I am the tip of the spear, and I don't want to be the tip of the spear anymore because, listen, everybody talks about, well, you guys need to have mental health workers go out with you. We already tried that. That's been done already. And what happens is the mental health worker goes with us and sees a guy swinging a sword in the middle of the street and says, guys, you guys need to get him in handcuffs first. So we end up handling it anyway. And I'm telling you that that's wrong. That's a systemic failure that needs to be fixed. I do have some solutions or suggestions, but I don't want to take up too much of the time.
So talk to us about just this false narrative that's being pushed out on a part of the solution right now in this country being defunding police. I mean, when I hear you describe those different variations of people, those different people groups on Skid Row, all of them image bearers of God, all of them made in the image of God, but yet some of them needing the consequences of law enforcement to help protect them from themselves and to help protect them from people in not just Skid Row, but in society. And they're in the middle of program after program, organization after organization that's there around them. Talk to us about just this false narrative that we need to be defunding good cops like you instead of actually empowering people like you.
Well, we're already seeing the fallout of the defund movement. Like right out of the gate, it's failing. If we look at our friends in Minnesota,
right.
They were like, abolish, abolish, abolish,
right.
and they literally did it. And then crime jumped up to a dramatic effect to the
right.
community. It was like, what's going on? And first, the city council there tried to, say, where's law enforcement? Well, you guys abolished them and demoralized them, and now they're doing a complete 180 saying we made a mistake. Okay. Right. And even though we're seeing this, we still see other cities wanting to follow the same pattern. Okay. Defunding the police is to give it to other services. And a lot of times it's defunding and giving it to other services. These services don't really help people. The people aren't going to go. Right now, currently, we have we had our law called Prop 36, which was passed in 2002, which made it mandatory for people who were arrested for possession of drugs to go to a drug program. Well, another law called Prop 47 came and completely nullified that. Now nobody has to go to a program. So we're putting all this money, we're going to take money from the police and other essential services and give it to services that people aren't going to go to because there's no push to get them there. The laws have no teeth. They don't have to go. It's not mandatory. And I've said this before and I've caught flack for it, but I don't care. The homeless can't be above the law. The poor can't be above the law. No one can. Look, what happens when the rich are above the law? We have Enron. We have banks collapse. We have people losing their life savings. They need to be held accountable. What happens when the lower half of that spectrum is held above the law? We have Skid Row, and it only metastasizes. These movements are already proving to fail. And the shock to me is our civic leaders are continuing to embrace them, even though they're failing out of the gate. Just look at our friends in New York City. Part of the whole defund is, and this whole social justice movement is to get rid of cash bail. Okay, well, they got rid of cash bail in New York. And right now it's Dante's Inferno and people are leaving the state. In my state, California, people are leaving the state because it's getting too dangerous and it's too expensive as it is. And not only is it expensive, I got to live in danger as well. So it's failing and it's really hurting everyone. Accountability is necessary. And like I said, I feel sorry for that poor domestic violence victim who whose husband gets arrested for beating her, and now he doesn't have to pay cash bail, or that person who stabs somebody or assaults somebody in Skid Row, and he's not going to be able to pass cash bail if this passes in our state, and he can get right back out. And it just emboldens criminality. It doesn't stop criminality, and people have fallen for this false narrative. And I'm touching the issue. See, I'm not a political person. I'm a centrist. I'm not left or right. If the sky is blue, the sky is blue. I'm not going to call it fuchsia to be accepted by the cool kids. Okay, that's just not how I work. This is failing, and it's actually hurting people of color more than you ever thought the negative exception of police officers could.
One of the things I love about the reality that allows you to be able to speak that boldly and honestly, especially in a place like LA, which has got to be just a minefield of, you don't know what you're walking into that could be turned political, or could be turned, as a Twitter war all of a sudden of people who are misquoting you and misunderstand, is the fact that you get to be that bold in what you just said because you're part of that community.
Right.
You don't just, it's the difference between patrolling a community versus becoming a part of it. You just said it a little while ago. You said, this is home for me. Talk to us about just being a part of the very community that you want to be. And this goes beyond someone being a police officer. If you're a nurse, if you're a teacher, being a part of the community that God has called you to help and serve.
Well, yeah, in any profession where your job is to try to improve someone's life, especially people of color, people in disenfranchised communities, they're not going to trust you until you're like family, until they see you as family.
Right.
And what's the base word of family? It's familiar, someone you know, so you trust that person. So I had to really infuse myself into these community programs, community meetings, and walking a footbeat, getting out of my car and saying, hello, how are you? If I see somebody crying in the street, I'll get out and I'll say a prayer for them. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I do it. It's like, I just have to, trying to meet the need for somebody and making promises. I never make a promise that I can't keep. And if I make a promise, even as to the guy living in the tent, I come through. And when the people see that, they start believing in you. They start seeing hope in you, and you become like family. And things. I was able to move mountains. I was able to solve murders. I was able to solve violent crimes. On top of that, bring the community together. Here's a story about how I did that. There is a wonderful coalition of homeless activists in Skid Row, and they would meet once a month. And they started hearing legend of RoboCop or the Angel Cop, right? There's this new senior lead out here who's really going out of his way to help the homeless, but they didn't want cops at their meeting, sort of what we're seeing today. We don't want the cops in parks. We don't want the cops in it. But no, we never want the cops. But one of their leaders sent me a blind copy email. We're having a meeting on Thursday. You're invited, right? So I was like, okay. I walked into this meeting and I saw 12 angry Black faces staring at me like, what the heck is he doing here? And even the guy that sent me the email was like, I don't know what that guy's doing here, right? And so I said, hey, I was invited to this meeting and I'm going to come every month and I'm going to let you guys know what's going on in the street. And I want to know what you guys are about. And if it's positive, I'm going to back you. First, they didn't believe it. Now, here's the funny thing. When I walked into that office, all along the walls, because they work with children, they had pictures of children. They had pictures drawn by children of police officers shooting babies. That's called indoctrination. And the average person would have walked in there and said, screw these people, I'm out of here. I would not give up. I kept coming month after month after month, supporting the positive things that they did. I think about the 5th month I went in there, I walked into the office and I saw the walls were blank. And I was like, hey, what happened to the cool pictures of cops killing kids? They said, we didn't want to offend you, officer. That's how you do it.
Wow.
Jesus never gives up on us. No matter how many times we screw up, no matter how many times we disappoint him, hey, he just keeps coming. He keeps welcoming. He keeps opening his heart. And I kept that same mentality. And from that, I was able to overcome and chip away at this wall this chasm that divides in my community. So much so that we had a shooting in Skid Row a few years back. And it was a justified shooting. And I don't care what anybody tells you. There was a lot of disinformation and misinformation that went out, but it was a justified shooting. If those officers didn't do what they had to do, they would have died and somebody in the community would have died. And we had agitators come in and try to stir the pot. They even tried to lie and say that I was involved in the shooting because they knew that some people in Skid Row didn't have cell phones, didn't get the news, so they can engage in their propaganda. And when I got a call from one of the mission directors, said, "Hey, Joseph, we had the shooting. The activists are out here. They're lying. They're spreading rumors." And I'm sitting here in my Superman underwear at home drinking on a smoothie, right? And I'm like, oh boy. So the next day I got up and I didn't run away. I said, I became like family to this community.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out there to my family and I'm going to walk and I'm going to talk with them. And as I did this, I discovered that 75% of the people I talked to were like, we understand what you did. That guy was crazy. If you guys didn't shoot him, we probably were. And I was like, hey, but they were like, they understood. And the ones that didn't, I stood tall, 10 toes down, and I had dialogue with them. And I said, hey, if you were in this situation, what would you do? And eventually they all agreed, you know what? Yeah, we probably would have done the same thing. And it completely stopped that Ferguson effect. So that's what I do. You become like family. They're willing to listen to you. And that's what I encourage a lot of law enforcement officers to do. Don't run. I know it's hard. I know you feel like the beast at every feast, but we can't give up in showing who we are in our heart.
Speaking of encouraging officers, a lot of our students, actually, Dion, come from families where they see their dad or their mom kiss them at the breakfast table and go to work, serving in law enforcement, knowing that every day they're putting themselves in harm's way. You're the same with your family, brother. Every day you're saying goodbye to your wife and you're saying goodbye to your family and you're walking into harm's way. It's so discouraging sometimes to try to do everything you can to serve and protect, but yet people are demonizing you just because of a few bad apples here and there. They seem to get all the attention. So talk to us. How can we, as believers, encourage? How can we, minister to? How can we support the great men and women who serve law enforcement, serve us through law enforcement every day?
Well, first of all, I'll add that, and this is very important for your students, all the students listening to me right now, because what's happening is a huge misinformation and disinformation campaign that's purposely designed to divide us all. I want you to hear me and hear the truth. I don't walk around thinking that cops can do no wrong. Police officers are a microcosm of society. And I can't see you, unfortunately. I wish I was there live and I could see your faces. But how many of you guys believe that the majority of people in this country, in America, are decent people, whether they're white, black, gay, straight, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, atheist? How many of you guys believe that most people in general are decent human beings?
Yeah.
And I can imagine right now in my spirit, there are most people raising their hands right now.
Just good people trying to do right.
Yeah.
Good people trying to provide for their families. Good people trying to get by with, want to love their neighbor the best they can.
If you don't believe that, get off social media right now because it's poison, okay? How many of you guys also believe that there's a negative exception, a small negative section of all of that society, all those groups that I mentioned, that cause all the havoc, get all the attention, get all the clicks, get all the media attention on 6 o'clock news? Raise your hand if you believe that. I do. Where do law enforcement agencies select their people from? The American public. And I can guarantee you that the vast majority of, I'd say 95% of officers out there are doing their job right. Not perfect. We're not perfect, but they're doing their job right. And you can be proud and know that we're not here waking up every morning figuring out how many African Americans we can kill today. Who wants that smoke nowadays? Okay. Nobody wants that. Okay. But yes, I have to acknowledge that there's a negative exception that even we hate. And when they rear their ugly head, we all end up paying for it. Now, I know somebody's thinking, well, if they're out there, why don't you report them? I have twice. I'm not looking for a medal or an award or any hoopla from it. It happens all the time. It's just, that's not the flavor of the month. Okay. Officers, we go out there, we do our job. If we see misconduct, many officers do. As a matter of fact, the reason why you are aware that there are bad cops is because the department itself actually went out and caught these guys or investigated further and discovered that negative exception was out there. So I understand your concerns being flooded with nothing but negativity. But the reality is most police officers did sign up to save lives, and they're not bad people. They're people of faith. Now, the question of how do you support them?
Right.
Every single morning, and since I'm talking to people of faith, every single morning before I go to work, I anoint my head and I sit on my front porch and I pray this prayer. This is part of my prayer. Lord, make me strong where I'm weak. Where I'm broken, heal me in the time I need to defend myself, and give me courage where I fear, and spread that to every single officer I serve with. That's part of my prayer every morning. And if you all would pray that prayer for every single law enforcement officer, that would be a wonderful thing. because we need it right now. We need it right now. The second thing you need to do is go out there and show love from a place that cops don't expect it right now. And I know there's a lot of African-American and Latino students that go there as well, especially you guys. Look, if I can do it in Skid Row and show love from a place that Skid Row didn't expect, you can. If you see a police officer driving, stopped at a stoplight, roll your window down and tell them you love them with the love of Christ. Be careful. And what about, you never know, you could be talking to that negative exception and you could melt that person's heart and give that person hope. Because a lot of officers, we take so much abuse that we become numb. You can break that. You can be a part. Yes, we have work on our end to do, but on your end as well, I'm asking you to share a word of encouragement. Stop and pray for them. And even if they don't believe in prayer, tell them hello and that you don't wish evil on them, that you don't wish death on them. And don't come with but those bad apples. Just tell them you love them. Tell them that you want them to be safe. And I'm telling you, that could really close this chasm, because we need support too at a time like never before in history. I think that would be very effective.
I love what you just said about closing the chasm. I mean, I think everything about the work of the enemy, everything about the work of Satan is division, confusion, trial by Twitter, everything about, all caps, everyone yelling at each other. But everything about the work of the gospel is a uniting work. Everything about the work of God is bringing people together,
Right.
And here in just a minute, I'm going to ask you to pray for the men and women, who diligently serve us, in law enforcement. And really for so many of our students who have people in their families who put themselves in harm's way as well. But before we close in prayer, and I'm going to ask you specifically in that prayer, brother, pray for, just our great officers all around this nation. Before we do that, I got to ask you about the Extreme Makeover finale. My wife and I watched it, and we were just celebrating, all that was happening. I know a lot of our students are watching, like right now, and they're like, look at that beautiful home that he's in. People just, took the time to honor you. You've always been so honorable in the way you took, you minister to other people. And then for that to just boomerang back into your own life and your family's life. Tell us a little bit about this experience.
Well, it's funny that before it happened, I was in a very dark place. I'd almost given up hope. The negativity was so strong between the politics and then the chasm between the police and the community. It was so bad. I felt like all I'd worked for was just going down the drain. And I just kept saying, God, I just need some hope. I just need you to lift my head. I know maybe this is part of your will. Maybe this is something we all have to walk through for a while. Just lift my head. And then for a brief second, I just said, I don't think God's listening to me.
Wow.
And then my wife calls me and she kept getting these emails. And she was like, hey, have you heard of Extreme Makeover? I said, yeah. I said, baby, it's probably a scam. Just hang up the phone, right? They kept trying to get to her and they finally got to her. She said, no, baby, it's real. It's real. But then I said, yeah, but that's for people who are struggling, who are doing good work. We're blessed. We have a roof over our head. We have a family. We don't need that. I said, no. So then they called my wife back. She said, no, you don't understand. It's the Heroes Edition. We're honoring our heroes.
Wow.
And then my wife calls me back again. And I started to think in my heart, I said, you know what? My wife has been ride or die for me for all these years. You know what? She deserves better, because all I've done is pour into other people, and I stopped pouring it into myself and into fixing my own house. So I said, I accept it on her behalf. And when it happened, it was just surreal. It felt like God did answer my prayer. He lifted my head and said, look, I saw what you were doing. It's not about the material thing that I'm giving you. It's just me letting you know that you have served others so well. Allow yourself to be served and blessed. And I'm telling you, it's done nothing but motivate me more to pass out more hygiene kits, to come up with more creative ideas, even though we're walking around in failure, in abject failure right now. It's just motivated me more. And I'm telling you, I'll leave a protest where I'm getting called everything but a child of God and getting rocks and bottles, and I walk through this front door. It's like a little vacation. So it's a blessing. And I'm just so thankful to the folks at Extreme Makeover, Home Makeover, and how they put a smile on my family's face and have given me some respite from the craziness out there. It's been a blessing.
Yeah, man. It's so much more than new hardwood floors and a can of paint that makes the place look better, or beautiful furniture behind you. It was just the fact that God was working in the waiting, and you were asking God for encouragement, and God was saying, what you don't know is I'm going to bring encouragement to your kids and to your wife in that really difficult season.
And you know what?
Yeah.
The funny thing was, a lot of the people that came were people of faith. And they went, while they were destroying my house, they were finding quotes that I had written about God and faith and Bible verses. And a lot of them were born again Christians, and they were just so motivated to help. And throughout the process, they were just so happy. And I just knew it was God. They were praying in my home. And I said, this is God. This is God answering my prayer about hope. He sent these people my way to give me some hope. So don't give up, guys. You know, keep fighting a good fight. And look, it took 25 years, okay? But it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Well, man, we love you. I do, again, want, if you would, just for you to pray, just for all the great men and women who serve us in law enforcement, especially during this incredibly difficult season that we're all in as a nation. And I love how honest you are, that, man, we have things that we need to deal with here and there in culture and in society, but there's a whole lot more going right than going wrong. And they don't make headlines. But will you just right now pray just for again, not just our great police officers, but their families and the people in the community that benefit from them?
Absolutely. Yeah. Lord, there are 700,000 men and women out there, and many of them have given up hope. They signed up for a job where they wanted to help people and serve people. And as we speak, they're the most hated group in the world right now. And Lord, I'm asking you to encourage them and lift their heads and give them hope as you did me. Lord, with all the things going on, the attacks, the protests, the demonization and dehumanization of officers, Lord, I'm praying, Father, that right now that you give them strength where they're weak, Father. Give them courage where they would fear, and where they're broken, heal them at a time for defense. Cover them coming and going. When they leave the station, leave ahead, be behind them, be at their side, Lord, and let them know that you love them, Father, and that you know that there are angels and guardians out there. Keep their heads lifted, Father. Keep them protected and safe, Father. And I pray for peace between law enforcement and the community we serve. I pray for an open line of communication and dialogue again, and to stop this chasm and this division going on in this country right now. In the name of Jesus Christ, I love you and bless your name. Amen.
Amen. Man, I love you, buddy. Thanks again. Last time you brought your whole family from LA.
Yep.
So when this pandemic's over and we're back in the Vine Center and we can do this kind of thing in person, I want to have you back. I want to have you come speak at Convo. I mean, we didn't have time today to tell that Hurricane Linda story, for example. Some of my favorite stories you tell, and so many other things. But then I'd love for us to maybe spend some time off the Convo stage, maybe blessing and encouraging some of the families who serve in law enforcement here in the city. Maybe we can do a banquet for them. I'd love for you to come and give us some examples that you've seen elsewhere on how we can maybe bring our students to serve, and you know, I'd love for us to kind of think tank together on ways to maybe have you come for a few days and both from the stage and off stage do some stuff.
Oh, I have so much to share, so much to learn just from an inspirational level, but also just learning about the reality of the crisis we face. You guys are the future. The students out there, you guys are the future of this country. And I don't want you guys getting one side. I want to fill in some blanks for you guys so that when you go out and do your good work, you'll be armed with truth so we can actually make a difference in this world. So I am looking forward to it. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, I already had a message waiting. I said, I knew you guys were coming. I had a message in my heart ready for the next convo, and you guys will love it. So I got more stories than Linda, trust me.
And you got kids that are college age, so I'm going to do some recruiting. I need to see some of them be Liberty students. So
I would love. Hey, I'd love that too.
A few of them can just pack and buy a one-way ticket when you come. All right,
Oh, that'd be great.
All right, buddy. Love you, man. Thank you.
Love you too. God bless you. Thanks for listening.
Once again, just so thankful for Officer Dion Joseph, and I have my friend Isaac with me. He's one of our student leaders here on campus. Isaac, I know that for you, as you were watching this must have meant something even more special, simply because your father is a police officer, and so you grew up in a household where every day this was very much the life that you lived out. And so, what are some thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what he said I can very easily relate to. It's encouraging to hear someone come from that perspective and say, man, I've been there, I know what that's like. And to hear his perspective as an officer, I think all perspectives matter. So it was just all in all encouraging, and to hear the fact that he's coming from a biblical mindset and is addressing it with what does the Bible say, and then how do we respond as Christians was the icing on the cake.
Yeah. So Isaac, if you could say one thing to someone who's maybe watching today, as someone who watched your dad every day, put himself in harm's way, what would it be? What is one piece of advice you'd give someone who doesn't maybe have your, window into this kind of life?
Yeah, I think this is true in all of life, but you have to lay down your presuppositions. He's still, they're all still people.
Yeah.
People with faults, people with mistakes, but nevertheless, the same as you and I.
Yeah.
And when we approach people without presuppositions or without anything that's informing our information about that person other than our interaction with that person, then it can easily become harmful.
Yeah. Your dad, every day he was going, did you find yourself just praying for him all day? I mean, a lot of people's fathers have much safer jobs. Your dad's job is so unpredictable every day. But how does that feel for you when you're 11 years old, when you're 17, and now even when you're out of the house?
Yeah, it's hard. Even today, it's hard because you just don't know.
Yeah.
But it's strengthened my relationship with the Lord because my dad is a gift. He's the sweetest gift the Lord has given me as my family.
Yeah.
And so to pray for him, not praying possessively like, Lord, keep him safe for my own sake, but Lord, keep him safe for your kingdom.
Wow.
Give him an opportunity to show the love of Jesus through his job. Because right now no one is expecting to see the love of Jesus through a police officer. And for him to have that opportunity, and I believe he does it extremely well, that's what matters.
Yeah. It's such a great moment right now that we have to just be able to come in and pray. And so I was going to ask you if you would, just to pray again for, I think more specifically, honestly, let's all together pray for all the families that are represented with all the enforcement officers that we have. We have over 400,000 in America, and they all have children like you, and they have wives, and they have family members. And so will you just pray right now for them?
Yeah. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for your grace and mercies that are new every morning. Father, thank you for the opportunity to come together collectively as your church. Lord, we specifically lift up all law enforcement to you right now. Law enforcement and their families. Father, we ask for a hand of protection upon them. Lord, ultimately, we ask for their salvation. If they do not know you, that they would come to know you. Lord, would you use them to protect this country? Would you use them to accomplish your will? Lord, if they are fearful, would their confidence be in you and in eternity, Father? And again, we thank you for this incredible gift of the United States of America, where we can come before you in freedom. And a lot of the freedom is from the sacrifice that our law enforcement makes. So we thank you and we praise you for that. And thank you for Pastor David for setting all of this up, Lord, and for the way that you're using him to impact this campus. We love you, Lord. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I love you, buddy. Thanks again. Hey, I want to invite you to join us tonight for Campus Community. It's going to be an incredible night for us. We actually have our theme in the Deeper series for tonight is worship. And so we're looking at the discipline of worship. And we are mashing up the Worship Collective and LU Praise and Sounds, and they're all going to be on stage. I don't know how we're going to get all these people on that stage, but it's going to be an incredible, incredible night. We have about 9 songs, that we're going to be leading and singing together. I think there might be a handful of tickets still left for the stadium. Not sure if there are or not, but regardless, join us on live. Go check out if there's any seats and grab the last few remaining. Hope to see you 6:30 tonight. I think weather's going to be awesome for us. See you tonight.